Hello, welcome to this week's How's the Market, Pensacola. Well, know anybody looking for work? Know anybody looking for work? I'm going to put this out on the show this week. I've actually got an executive assistant position that has become available. And so I am hunting for someone. And this someone needs to be able to grow with the company. Probably move into a director position the way I'm seeing things right now. But if you know anybody looking, I'm going to put a link below to a Facebook post so they can get more details. But I'm looking to hire fairly soon. So just put that out there as we're going through this. Last week the market took a tumble. The market got beat up and the 10-year treasuries wound up getting bought up, going higher. There's an inverse relationship with that in mortgages. So I saw for the first time in a while some mortgage pre-approvals coming back in the fours. They're coming back in the fours. People freaked out about that, going, I can't believe it's that high. And I kind of chuckle. Maybe it's because it's just I've been doing this so long to where that's not high. I know in 05, 06, when we had the mortgage boom going on, and I was selling mortgages, most of my clients were very, very happy if we got 6 3/4 or 7%. So getting into 4, historically, it's not high at all. It's not high at all. You go back to the mid-'80s and we had 18% mortgages. Those are credit card rates. But that was based off the risk right now. So what I kept saying, are rates going to rise? Yeah, they're inevitably going to do so. The Fed's pretty much said they're going to raise 2, if not 3 times this year, which means that rates are going to go up, mortgage rates are going to go up, so affordability is going to come down. Is that going to cause a crash in the real estate market? No, because even if we doubled inventory right now, we'd still be in a seller's market. What do you see these numbers? Believe it or not, usually in January, inventory rises a little, but steady. This is the last day in January as I'm shooting this. I know it comes out on February 1st. Shooting this the last day of January. It has steady gone down. It's the first time I've seen that in a long, long time. To where, I've been saying we've got inventory problems for 18 months now, 20 months? We're getting past critical inventory problems right now. Critical. Yeah. Part of that is to do with mortgages. Do I think that's going to, again, crash? No, it's not. It's just going to make affordability changes. That's all. So your payment's going to go up, which means the amount you can purchase will go down. If you're on a certain income and my max was $350, well, it may get down to $325, which could stagnate some of the sellers right now because they realize that, hey, we've got less buyers. But I haven't seen that. At all. Put a property out to slightly over 200. Multiple offers in a matter of hours, to be honest. So it's still definitely a hyper seller's market, as I'll show you here in a minute. But you've got to have strategies. You've got to have strategies, especially if you're a buyer right now. You've got to have some strategies. Let's talk inventory, and then I'll talk about some of those strategies there at the end. Let's go. All right, if you've never seen the show, you don't know that I start with this slide right here. It says if we have between 6 and 7 months worth of inventory, we have what's called a neutral market. Anything greater than 7 is considered a buyer's market. Anything less than 6 is considered a seller's market. Slide doesn't say anything greater than 9, hyper buyer's market. Anything less than 3, hyper seller's market. Strategies change for both buyers and sellers depending on which one of the 5 markets are there. So let's take a look. We start with Escambia County, and we dropped another 30 some odd properties. This was 398, if I remember correctly, from last week. 398, 395, something like that, because I know it was slightly under 400, and I was like, wow, I hadn't seen it under 400. Well, it's dropped now even more. We're 365 active total. There is not one price point that is out of the hyper sellers. We don't even have just a seller's market. Our luxury, 700,000 plus, is now down to 2.7 months. 2.6 months is the 500,000 to 550,000. That appetite is not as strong there. We got 28 properties. But it has to do with the appetite at the price points, because if you look between 300,000 and 350,000, we have 46 active properties, but I'm only at 0.7 months inventory. Why? Well, because the appetite's strong for that particular price point. And if you wanted to see something between 100 and 150,000, there's only 32 of them in Escambia County altogether. Look at these as buyers. The list to sell ratio, most of it is 100%. 98, 99, 100%. That's what things are selling for. If you come up here to the 50 to 100,000, things were selling for 92 to 94%. Okay, a lot of that, especially at that price point, is going to be A, negotiated land, or B, you're going to have some damage from a property that needs to be fixed, so there's some negotiating happening. Because anybody putting anything up under 100,000 right now, yeah, it's usually because there's some work needs to be done. Let's jump over to Santa Rosa County, see what they say. Santa Rosa County, we're under 200. We're 194 active total. Look at this. You called me and said, hey, I want to look at properties between $150,000 and $200,000. Well, I can show you all 7. You want to go up a bracket to 200,000 and 250,000? Great, we got 7 more. 0.2 months worth of inventory. I'm in some groups on Facebook, some different real estate groups and different investment groups, and I have seen people just flat out begging, hey, does anybody know anybody in Santa Rosa County that may consider selling? Because we've got a buyer that's got to stay in Santa Rosa County, and there's just nothing out there. There's 194 active in all price points. And look at that. 42 of them are luxury, 700,000 plus. And that's still with a demand, 2.4 months. So that's still a hyper seller's market. So there's your numbers for the week. We have talked about, I'm going to end it here in a minute, talking about a different strategy. But one of the things that I always end my shows with is I talk about my instant offer program. Had 2 more instant offers happen last week. People are needing to move pretty quick, but there's a lot of work needs to be done to the property. So we give them an instant offer. One of them took the instant offer. The other one wants me to list it, see if we can get any higher, and use the instant offer as a baseline. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's what we do. If you've got a property that needs work, has title issues, or whatever, all right, it needs stuff. You don't have the time or the energy or the resources to get it all wrapped up, then we can come in and give you an instant offer just like an investment group would. That's what that is. I have an investment group behind me that's like, hey, we got to back whatever you put out there. So we can give you an instant offer like an investment. And then you can either A, take it if that accomplishes what you're wanting to accomplish, or B, you can use that as a baseline and see if we can get it higher on the market. So if I bring it on the market for you, I might be able to make you some more money. And if I make you more money, you'll just have to be mad at me. So yeah, there is a link below talking about our instant offer program. Make sure you click the link. Check that out if you've got anybody that knows anything, or if they're looking just for a quick property sale. The one that took it really needed to be in Colorado in like 9 days. Got a heck of a business opportunity up there, and he needed to be gone. He needed to be sold and gone, and did not have the time to try and get on the market. So in 9 days. So we offered him the instant offer, which accomplished exactly what he said. Man, that's almost to the dollar of what I need to make this happen. So he's very, very happy with it. We're waiting on title work to come back. We'll close this week. So that's how that works. It works out really well for all parties involved. So buyers, let me talk to buyers as a strategy for a minute. I need you to understand some of the frustration that is coming. I'm not trying to discourage you from buying. As a matter of fact, I think now, even with the rates the way they are still historically low. And I think that the way rent continues to increase so rapidly in our area, that buying now to lock something in is actually going to save you a ton of time, a ton of money, and a ton of headache. So I'm not trying to discourage that. With that being said, do I think that you need to come into this eyes wide open? Yes. I've got agents now that have got buyers that have looked at 12 or wrote 12 different offers and lost every one of them. I've got a couple of people that have lost 2 or 3. They won one, but then come to find out the things eat up with termites. So we had to back out of that, and we're back to this. I say all this to say that you need to come to the buying process. That's the word I'm looking for, the buying process, understanding everything. I need you to understand what's happening. Understand that we may not get the first one. You may get fortunate enough and get it, but you may not get the first one. You may not get the second one. All right. So it's good to talk with someone who knows the market, who knows some off-market stuff, which I do, because sometimes that actually makes more sense too, to work with a buyer that has that type of knowledge, or a buyer's agent. And right at this point, for the most part, buyers are not paying any real estate commission. There are some times that they do. So I don't say never, but for the most part right now, the model does not do that. It's mainly the sellers. Sellers, pay attention. Your strategy tip is pay attention to terms. I've talked about this a couple of times, but it seems to be that everybody's looking for just the price. Here's the price, here's the price, here's the price. I had one, we had 14 offers we had to go through. We got 14 offers in like 3 days. It was crazy. So, but that's what good marketing does. When you get good marketing, it's that way. And most of the offers were over, it was 100% like this is going on, or higher. And we kind of got caught up on price. And when I looked and we narrowed it down to the top three, the price between the three of them, they literally were $1,500 apart. So that's nothing for a $300,000, $400,000 property, right? It's really nothing. But we have to kind of dig into terms. I've had people offer way over. Like, I've got one right now that out of the 6 offers for this one particular couple, one of the offers is way above the others, like $20,000 above the others. But then when you look at their terms, they have got multiple outs. So I don't know if you take that. That's a conversation I'm going to have with the couple. We're just going to kind of go step by step for the risk so that you understand the risk of all these terms. Pay attention as a seller to terms, because I have seen some sellers get bit where they didn't realize that it was built in there that you replace the roof, or it was built in there that you give a survey. Surveys are required for pretty much everybody getting a loan, pretty much. But if you have to give a survey and it's a meets and bounds thing, I know one last year we had to do the survey. The survey cost $4,000 and it took 2.5 months to get done. Now it was 9 acres, meets and bounds, and I'm not going to go over meets and bounds versus lot and block, but it's a more difficult survey. But yeah, it was $4,000 and took 2.5 months. Well, if that's $4,000 you were not expecting as a seller, now you're getting mad at me. And that doesn't happen to my sellers. My buyer actually bought that for his own purpose, and he didn't have to, but he wanted to. But I was just telling you that's how long they're taking. Now, most surveys are going to probably run you $400 to $700, depending on what you need. All right, maybe $800, just depending on what you need. You need elevation certificates and all the other stuff. That's fine, and they're probably going to take you 3 to 4 weeks. But build that in. So figure out who's paying for the survey, who's paying for. It's funny that owner's title and who picks the title used to be primarily paid for by the seller, but I'm seeing a lot of buyers get that, and that's just a term. It's another term that as a buyer you may want to consider offering so that you make it a little bit more seller friendly. And as a seller, you just need to review all this. So don't just go off price and go, hey, that's the highest one, go. No. There's a lot more to it than that. And when you get some of these people, I had one, I just listed their house. It'll come on the market here in about a week and a half because we're doing all our pre-listing stuff right now. And they had an offer already on the table. Before they signed that offer, they happened to watch the show and reached out and said, hey, would you just review this offer and tell me what you think? And I normally don't, but I said, sure, no problem. I'll take a glance at it. And we looked, and oh my gosh, the terms on this thing were horrible for the seller. I mean, I think it was up to a 5-month close. You can, they can back out for any reason. I mean, literally, the language was almost plain, but it was hidden in paragraph 3BC, whatever. They could back out for any reason all the way up to the day of closing. Didn't have to. So they were basically locking down a property. Now, what they were probably trying to do, and the price wasn't all that attractive either, what they were probably trying to do is what's called wholesaling. And wholesaling is fine. There's nothing wrong with wholesaling as long as everybody accomplishes what they're trying to accomplish. What a wholesaler will do is they will put something under contract for a little bit of time. So say 4 months, 3 months, 5 months at a certain price, but then they put in that contract that they're allowed to assign the contract. We'll use easy math. Let's say they put your house under contract for $200. They try and go out there and find a buyer willing to pay $215, $220. All right. They take that $15,000, $20,000 difference in what's called an assignment fee. So they assign the contract over. Is it legal? Absolutely, it's legal. Yes. Have I done it in the past? Sure. I did that quite often with some foreclosures. because the bank said, hey, we'll take this. I'm like, okay. I would either buy it or, a lot of times with the banks, I had to buy it and then I'd turn around and sell it that afternoon. So I'd buy it in the morning and sell it in the afternoon for the difference. Not keep the assignment fee, just keep the difference in price. Is that happening? Yes. But again, your terms are all there. I say all this to say, remember, real estate's about price and terms. So pay attention to both, because if you're not looking all the way through, you could wind up getting burned or losing money. Losing money. I had, and now I'm going to end on this today because we're already at the 16, 17 minute mark, which is one of my longer shows. But I had a deal come through there where they asked me, they said, hey, I think I can get to 209 on my own. I think I can get 209 on my own without you. I'm like, okay. I said, but, we've been told you're one of the best in the area, so what do you think we can get with you? I said, probably more than 209. And we wound up getting like 270 for that same property. Now, a wholesaler could have jumped in there all day long, bought it at 209, did nothing to it, and turned around and sold it at 270. No. It's like, if you want to give it that money, that's okay. But for the most part, no. I usually justify what I'm paid in commission and extra income. Or I'm paying attention to your terms and keeping you out of trouble. Because there's a couple of cases right now that I know of here in town, not involving me, but there's some serious litigation happening because of these contracts. So, not one to scare, and about the only thing that's scary on these episodes are the inventory levels. That's way, way low. All right, one of my longer episodes. I'm on a soapbox today. Let's get going on this Monday. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. I'm a man on a mission. My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there and don't need no permission. I want to help you get to actual truth. Don't you just want the truth?